Buckle up for an interesting story. So, our dear friend Thomas, after immersing himself in countless videos about those passport bras, decided to embark on a quest to find his very own Asian wife and live happily ever after in a traditional bliss. Little did he know, or maybe he did know but chose to ignore it, that there was a little secret waiting for him. And boy, did it come back to bite him in the behind. Now, let's delve into the train wreck that is Thomas's life and see just how he managed to utterly ruin everything for himself. Thomas was always the lonely guy. Growing up in a small American town, he faced constant rejection from Western women who found him too nice or too creepy. He made every effort to find someone who shared his values, but all he encountered were women who took advantage of his kindness and dumped him when they were done. Lost and disillusioned, Thomas turned to the internet for answers. He stumbled upon a bunch of videos about passport bras, men who traveled to other countries to find wives who were supposedly more traditional and submissive. Intrigued, Thomas spent months delving into different cultures and customs until he finally set his sights on Asia. He saved up, quit his job, and jetted off to Asia on a quest for a wife who would cook, clean, and transform his house into a domestic paradise. And guess what? He actually found her. Her name was Konya, and she ticked all the boxes for Thomas. She was drop-dead gorgeous, kind-hearted, and fiercely committed to her family. Cooking and cleaning were her passions, and she was always eager to please Thomas. Oh, the sheer ecstasy Thomas felt. Finally, he had stumbled upon someone who got him and shared his values. He made the decision to bring Konya back to the United States so they could build a life together. But alas, as soon as they arrived, everything began to fall apart. The women around him turned icy and started eyeing Konya with suspicion. They labeled her a mail-order bride and spread their gossip in hushed tones. Thomas attempted to explain that Konya was his wife, not some object to be scrutinized and tossed aside, but his words fell on deaf ears. Oh, poor Konya, struggling to adapt to life in the oh-so-difficult United States. I mean, who would have thought that leaving your family and culture behind could be a challenge? And of course, she couldn't connect with the other women around her because, well, they are probably just too different from her. Enter Thomas, the ever-supportive husband, who tries his best to understand Konya's mysterious struggles. But let's face it, he's just a clueless guy who can't comprehend what she's going through. As time went on, Konya underwent a complete transformation. She embraced the ways of the Western world and decided to question the values her parents instilled in her. Because, you know, traditional values are so passé. Suddenly, she discovered a whole new perspective on life and realized that being a mere housewife wasn't enough for her anymore. She had dreams and ambitions. People who could have seen that coming? Naturally, Thomas was caught completely off guard. He foolishly believed that Konya was content with their little domestic setup, playing the role of the devoted wife and taking care of their home. But oh no, Konya had other plans. She dropped the bombshell that she wanted to leave him and start her own independent life. Poe Thomas, desperate to salvage their relationship, attempted to communicate with her to understand what had gone wrong. But Konya, being the distant and uncommunicative woman that she is, shut him out. She claimed she needed to find herself and explore her identity outside of their relationship. Cue Thomas's world collapsing around him. His wife, his home, and his purpose were all ripped away from him, leaving him utterly lost. But then, he remembered the warnings he had heard in those eye-opening videos about passport bras. Oh, what a colossal blunder he had made by bringing Konya back to the United States. He completely disregarded the cautionary tales that Western culture would corrupt her traditional programming. Thomas was drowning in regret. The love of his life slipped through his fingers, and he had no one to blame but himself. It was as if he had been duped by those videos that promised him a blissful, traditional life with an Asian wife, Well, folks, this is precisely how it always ends for those who ignore the warnings. In one of my enlightening videos about passport bras, I made it crystal clear. Never, ever bring your traditional wife to the United States. Those women over there will meddle with her traditional programming, and she'll end up just like them. I vividly recall that day when a bunch of Western women were huddled together, gleefully plotting how to divorce their husbands and snatch all their hard-earned money. Imagine if your traditional wife happened to be in the midst of that conversation, absorbing their diabolical plans. And don't forget, the government is always there to lend a helping hand. After all, how else are they supposed to make a quick buck if not by taking a cut from alimony and child support fees? If she spent a night out with the girls, and all they talked about was divorce and their toxic feminism, do you really think she won't be influenced? If these Western women can manipulate you, why wouldn't they do the same to their own kind? Trust me, bringing your traditional wife to the United States is a surefire way to ruin your marriage. Say goodbye to your wealth in a messy divorce. Now, I'm not saying I fully endorse the passport bro message, because women are the same wherever you go. Maybe some cultures are just better at hiding their true colors. My advice to you guys is to date women, not despise them. We're different from those bitter incels. And when she starts pushing for marriage, you better run for the hills. Marriage is no longer a safe haven, my friends, not even if your wife is from the Philippines. There's still a risk of losing everything. It all depends on the type of female friends she associates with. Trust me, among Western women, you'll find a whole bunch of snakes and vipers. They'll poison your wife's mind, no doubt about it. If you have a traditional wife in Asia, then stay in Asia. If you have a traditional wife in the Philippines, then stay in the Philippines. If you are working in the United States, leave your wife in Asia, the Philippines, Japan, or wherever she belongs, and focus on your business in the United States. Never bring your wife along with you, or you'll end up losing her. A word of caution should suffice for those who are wise enough to heed it. And that's a wrap for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you give that like button a massive high five, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can be the first to know when my brand new video drops. Make sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments below.